Here at A-Corp Media, we provide a platform for all things political, from national issues to local elections. We try to discuss these with civility and integrity. This is In the Arena. I would like to welcome Greg Mathis, former four-term Presiding Commissioner from Stoddard County. Greg, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate being here.
Pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Well, Greg, first tell us a little bit about yourself and your family.
All right. My family moved to Stoddard County, Dexter, in 1962. 1975 graduate of Dexter High School. Went to mortuary school. I went a couple of years to college, then went to mortuary school in Louisville, Kentucky. Went to work for Ray and Lucille Rainey back in August of 1978. Married to the former Lisa Coffey. Her father was Bob Coffey, mother was former June Barber. We have two children, Eric Mathis and Aaron. Eric's works in ministry in Washington, D.C. at a church there. Aaron works with me at the funeral home. We have two grandchildren, Harper and Blake. In 1996, my wife and I bought the funeral home, and we've been the owners of Mathis Funeral Home now for the past 26, 27 years.
Very successful at the funeral home there, and y'all do a first-class job. I've seen it, unfortunately, many times.
Well, we try. We're very blessed with a very good business.
Well, Greg, one of the things we like to do here In the Arena is educate the viewer about what's really going on in local politics. And a lot of people out there go vote, but they really don't know what some of these positions entail as far as job description. So what does the presiding commissioner do? What does the associate commissioners do? Can you give us a little background on what the commissioner does?
Well, basically, the presiding commissioner is countywide. We're elected by the whole county. The associate commissioners, you have the north half, you have the south half, so that's divided up there. It still takes 2 out of 3 votes in order to win something if we're having a vote on it. The only time the presiding commissioner gets more power, quote unquote, is when there's just 2 commissioners there. If you have a vote on something, then the presiding commissioner's vote is the one that carries on. The majority of the stuff that the commission does is financial, budgetary. Every January, the office holders, they present their wish list, their projected budget to the county clerk. At that point, they put all of that into a flow sheet, and then the 3 commissioners sit down and go through it line by line, item by item. What we're looking to do is make expenditures and revenues meet. Normally, whenever we have the first go-around, we're approximately $500,000, $750,000 difference in expenditures as to what anticipated revenues will be. At that point, we've got to start cutting. Then we can bring the office holders in, talk to them individually about issues, about questions we have as to why they need this or need that. And eventually it'll all work out, it'll all come together. It's all about money.
So really it's just kind of setting the budgets for different areas of the county.
That's correct. Stoddard County gets its money from sales tax. We have 4 sales tax. 5 years ago, the voters in Stoddard County approved sales tax to supplement the sheriff's budget and to build the new detention center. Then about 23, 24 years ago, Stoddard County voters approved a sales tax to fund the other offices, and by that, prosecuting attorney, the recorder of deeds, assessor, collector treasurer, archives, the clerk, coroner, all of those go in together, and that's how you divvy up the pot of money that you have coming in.
Well, Greg, 4 years ago, you decided not to run for re-election after 16 years as presiding commissioner.
That's correct.
What changed since then? What's your desire to get back into politics and to run this county?
You know, 4 years ago, maybe I was burned out. I don't know. Our business model had changed at the funeral home. I felt like I needed to spend more time there. But I've never been a person, I don't have any hobbies. My work's been my hobby. I don't hunt, I don't fish, I don't golf, I don't camp. And, you know, at that point, I missed it. I missed being a part of it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not patting myself on the back, but I felt like I was a good commissioner. It didn't bother me to call other office holders in, ask the tough questions. And it's just something that I missed and I enjoyed. So talked about it with my wife and family, and they said if that's what I wanted to do, jump on. So I made the decision to do so.
So have the priorities changed for you in Stoddard County from the time you left office till now? What's changed that you think you can do better?
Well, I don't think necessarily things have changed. With that added sales tax, which helps supplement the sheriff's office, there's more money there to go around. But just because there's more money there to go around doesn't mean that you have to necessarily spend it right away. When I was a commissioner before, I was always looking 4 and 5 years down the road, things that could come up where we needed to keep money back for emergencies. Things happen. I mean, government is just like running a business at your house. Things break, things happen unexpectedly, and you need to have some money there to take care of it whenever the need arises. You know, right now, I guess maybe one of the big changes that we're having is we're having runaway inflation, recession possibly looming, store shelves are not being stocked, gasoline's getting ready to hit $5 a gallon. Is there going to come a time when the voters, the people, citizens of Stoddard County decide, well, you know, honey, we ought to slow down our spending. We might ought to change what we're doing here at the house. And if people don't spend, then you're not getting sales tax, but you still have those same fixed bills that have got to be paid. And however long this could go on, if it's 4 or 5, 6 years down the road, you know, there's going to be a decrease in your general revenue money, but you're still going to have to pay those bills. Decisions are going to have to be made, and that's never bothered me. I can make decisions.
Well, that's a good question there. You know, you're wanting to make Stoddard County an even better place to live than it is now. As a presiding commissioner, you were the leader before you left office of making or helping and aiding in a safe environment, bringing industry in. So what kind of goals do you have for that in the future?
Well, I mean, right now, if I am elected, law enforcement, that's big on my list right now. We've got a financial debt with the new jail that's being built. Yes, there's money coming in to pay for that through sales tax, but can we go ahead and pay that off a little early to save paying interest in order to use that money for other offices, other needs that might arise? You know, we talk about law enforcement, but one of the big things that people don't realize is that our juvenile service office. Yes, it's a part of state government, but we also have some skin in the game with money that we help supplement their budget with. We have one of the most active juvenile service offices in southeast Missouri, maybe in the state of Missouri. And people don't necessarily know what they do because they're working with minors, juveniles, and that doesn't get newspaper, doesn't get in the media. But they assist our school districts with disruptive children that needed to be taken out and placed in alternative school. They go out to homes when there's possible sexual abuse of a child or domestic abuse of a child. And, you know, they go out and do that. And really, it's one of those things where people just don't understand how much of that goes on in our county just because it's not talked about. So I'm a big supporter on that with law enforcement, et cetera, and that includes juvenile services. Agriculture drives our economy in Stoddard County. Whatever we can do to help agriculture out. One of the things that we can do is in regards to bridge building. Stoddard County has a lot of deficient rural bridges that need to be replaced. MoDOT gives us a list of the deficiencies. They meet a certain threshold. They need to be replaced. We put them on our list to replace the worst ones. You have BRO money, which is the hard money that's used to pay for those bridges. And then you have soft match. Each county has to pay 20% of the soft match. Several years ago, Mr. Talkington and Ms. Gerald and myself were on the commission, and I made the recommendation to them that we go to other counties that wasn't spending their soft match and buy it from them. We bought $300,000 worth of soft match. That put us in a very good position with what we were going to be getting down the road, with what we already had, and what we added to, where anytime we had a need to come up on a bridge that'll help the farmers get their commodity to market, then we were able to replace that bridge. Now the funny thing about that is Scott County, a good friend of mine, Jamie Berger, was over there. And he called me and he said, hey, he said, we're looking for some soft match. And he said, I find Stoddard County's bought it all. He said, do you all want to sell any? And I started laughing and told him no. But anyway, that's a big deal for us, bridges, and making sure that our agriculture community is taken care of.
Well, really, Greg, infrastructure is a big part of the presiding commissioner's job, right?
That's correct.
You need to know what's going on every road or bridge in the county. I'm sure you depend on the associate commissioners a lot because they've got their own sector to take care of. But how often did you go out in the county and just view the infrastructure all over the county?
Well, Stoddard counties, in Dunklin County are a little bit different. We're township forms of government. We're divided up into 7 townships, maybe 3 or 4 special road districts. Then at that point, the people in those districts or townships, they elect their board members, all righty? The board takes care of the actual gravel roads itself, the grading, etc. The drainage that comes off that, getting down into the main ditch, that's their responsibility for cleaning. Now at that point, the commission has no statutory authority to tell the townships how they are to operate. We can't do that. But what we can do is say, hey, so-and-so's called me, they've got an issue, what's the problem? Is there something you can do to help? We're small county, small communities, we all know each other, and usually it's an easy problem to fix. It's just a matter of getting the right people together. And then we do go out and view our worst bridges, because at that point we have to make the decision as to which ones we want to vote on and move forward with funding.
So Greg, there's another question probably on Stoddard County voters' minds. The first 16 years you ran as a Democrat, very successful. You won by a landslide almost every time. This time you're running as a Republican. Why the change?
The first, and I ran 2 times as a Stoddard County coroner and won, 4 times as Stoddard County presiding commissioner and won as a Democrat who leans heavily in a 80% Republican county. Stoddard County identifies itself as a Republican. 80% of the people say they are Republican. It's certainly not going to change anything in the way that I do business. You can go ask the 3 current sitting commissioners. I've worked with all of them. Did Greg Mathis do anything different because he was a Democrat? The answer is no. Nobody said anything or brought up any liberal off the wall idea that I came with. You can go ask any office holder, current or past, that I've worked with. Point blank, did Greg Mathis do anything that you felt like off the wall to hinder your office because you were a Republican, or did he do anything different because you're a Democrat? The answer is no. I've been asked in the past by people who identify, again, if that's a good word, as Republican within our county, to run as a Republican, and I've told them no, wouldn't do it. I sat out for 4 years. I started floating the idea of running again. I've had people come to me and ask me, we supported you in the past. Do you have any interest as running as Republican this time? And I've decided to go ahead and do it. Maybe it's not necessarily so much that I left the Democratic Party. Maybe the Democratic Party left me. I don't know. But I'm still, I won't run anything or do anything any different because I've changed parties. One thing that I will bring up that hadn't been addressed is the fact that our current sheriff, Carl Hefner, he was elected his first term as a Democrat. He changed parties and he's been running as a Republican ever since. I don't remember that ever coming up or being a part of any part of his election. Maybe it's just specific to me. I don't know. Carl's done a wonderful job, and it wouldn't make him any difference if he was dealing with a Democrat or Republican. When you're in a small county, small town, you know everybody. So I look forward to treating everybody the same as I always did and then go from there.
The geography of Stoddard County is kind of unique. You go from the hills up around Puxico and Bloomfield. You've got the flatlands down here close almost to Parma, although Parma's in New Medford County. But it's a very unique landscape here in Stoddard County. You want your old job back? What are your priorities for your new job? From day one, what's Greg Mathis going to do on the job?
Day one, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance, we're going to say the prayer, and we're going to have a detailed agenda, and we're going to move forward quickly. I'm going to be brought up to date on where we're at with what we owe. start seeing what directions we need to do to take care of any debt we have. I'm going to move forward to make sure that our law enforcement community is taken care of. The one thing that I didn't mention a while ago, and I should have, we just built a new jail that's set for 125 people. Well, I'm guessing within a year, maybe a year and a half, we're going to have over 200 people in that facility. Sheriff Hefner is going to be putting mattresses back down on the floor again to take care of the inmates we have. It's not going to just, he's probably got no telling how many warrants of arrest that he could go out and do now just to fill it up. We're going to make sure that he has the manpower, the resources to do the job to keep Stoddard County safe. Transparency. I've always believed in open, honest government. We'll have a detailed agenda. I told Mike McCoy back years ago, he was a former newspaper reporter for the Dexter Statesman. I told Mike one time, I said, Mike, if it comes out of my mouth, you print it. I said, everything's fair game with me. And at that point, Mike said, well, I don't know that I want to print everything that comes out of your mouth, but anything that goes on up there, the people should have access to. They should have the knowledge of what we're doing with their tax dollars. You know, transparency is the foundation of effective government. If you're transparent with people, they're going to believe you, they're going to trust in you, and they're going to let you do the job that you need to do, help the office holders with the job that they've been elected to do. You know, it's not our job to micromanage our different office holders. It's our job to oversee the budget and make sure they stay within the parameters of what the voters give them financially. That's our jobs, to ask the questions.
Greg, thank you for being here today on In the Arena. You're applying for your old job, and I'm going to give you the last word to the voters of Stoddard County, but thank you for coming.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Folks, I've got 16 years of detailed, financial, responsible management of your tax dollars. I've said it in the past, I've asked folks to try to find something that I've done wrong with your money in the past, and it's not there. I want to work for you. It's a job that I enjoy. It's a job that I miss, and that's why I'm running for re-election again. I'm Greg Mathis, and I would certainly appreciate your vote and support for Stoddard County Presiding Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on In the Arena. Greg Mathis, it's an honor to have you today.
Thank you. I appreciate being here. We appreciate Acor Media.
It takes a lot of courage to be on the ballot, and you can vote for Greg Mathis on August 2nd in the Republican primary in Stoddard County.